Hello, Into It. Scott here, guys, with a new video about the new GobbleGum machine and the new prices, as well as a little information about the drop cycle. When you're in the first 10 rounds, the first hit obviously is always going to be 500 points, okay? The second hit is going to be 1,500 points, okay? Third hit is going to be 3,000 points, okay? It's hard for you to see on the screen, so I'm going to go ahead and just tell you the amounts, okay? But that's 3,000. Now, beyond that, another little tip here, when you get a fire sale gumball, make sure to pop all three at once. You're going to get about 3 to 4 extra hits out of the box, okay? Don't worry, I'm going to edit this down where I get my bay recce and my monkeys. But I know a lot of people don't know that yet, and I think I've mentioned it in some other videos, but let's just make sure that that's well known. Also, people have been asking about the fire sales. Do they affect the price? Well, what they do is whatever round you're on, they subtract 490 points. So that was, instead of 3,000, that was 2,510 points, okay? Now moving on to the teens. The first hit, obviously, is 500 points. The second hit is going to be 2,500 points, and then the third hit is going to be 5,000 points. Okay, guys? Now the 20s, obviously, 500 points for the first hit, 4,500 points for the second hit, 9,000 points for the third hit. Okay? In the 30s, it's going to, I'm going to go ahead and go through the prices here, and then we could talk a little bit more about what stuff is, okay? And then I'll leave the last one. The 30s, we got, I guess we're still in the 20s, 500 for the first, 4,500 for the second, 9,000 for the third. 30s are 500 for the first, obviously. God, I shouldn't even have to say that, but 8,500 for the second, 1,700 for the third. Okay, it's starting to get a little pricey, but nothing like it's about to. In the 40s, it is 500 for the first, 16,500 for the second, 33,000 for the third. 50s, 500 for the first, 32,500 for the second, 65,000 for the third. In the 60s, the usual 500 for the first, 64,500 for the second, 129,000 for the third. In the 70s, the usual 500 for the first. Make sure you get those. And guys, I'll give you some tips in a bit about that. 128,500 for the second, 257,000 for the third. Okay? In the 80s, the usual 500, 256,500 for the second, 513,000 for the third. After round 90, obviously the 500, 512,000 points, and well, 512,500 points for the second, 1,025,000 points for the third. So save your money, kids. You're going to need it if you're wanting it. And at the end, I'll show you where it is. Now, let's talk about drop cycles, okay? With the GobbleGum drop cycles, there are 5 GobbleGums, okay? It has to get all the way through those 5 before you enter, which randomly it's going to go through those 5, okay? That ends the drop cycle, and then it starts a new random drop cycle. So let's say you're getting an alchemical or theses or whatever, or a cash back, and it's the 5th thing on the drop cycle. It could be the 1st on the next one, or it could be the 5th. So, or the 3rd. So that's what drop cycles are all about, you know. So when you're doing this, I would suggest, let's say if you get an alchemical theses like that, and you know where you are in the drop cycle, go hit the GobbleGum at the beginning or end of each round and for 500 points and get it to a new drop cycle. If you want, once you've used one, you know, if it's in the lower rounds, like the 50s, 60s, 70s, which you shouldn't have to pop one before that anyways, then you might want to start hitting it once or twice into the next drop cycle, because the rounds are so fast, you're going to be able to get another one before you use those two up. So there's a little tip on that. Beyond that, you got to be really careful when you're going for these things. Let's say you've hit it at the beginning of a round or mid-round or whatnot, and then you run over to it. I did this at round 90, and I had to go back and do a whole other game to get a 90 clip of footage. Because, and I wish I didn't have it recording, sadly. You know, I was trying to do this in small little segments, less editing work, and I went and paid $500,000 for the first hit. It was crazy. So be really careful. Wait. You'll have to wait if you guys are. I know it's hard to see the price on the screen, but sometimes you'll walk up to the machine. It'll say the large amount of money. You got to wait for the round to kick in for it to flash back to the 500 points. Okay. Down here in the launch pad area is one of the easiest ones to hit, as you will see, except for the troll that I'm about to get. And 90 here, which I hope will let you guys know. Ooh, some thunder in the background. That should make for some good stuff. I put some sound on, but this is probably the only reason you should have to pay $500,000 for a GobbleGum. And luckily, my game was over at this point, so it wasn't that big of a deal. So I get my A, I'm all excited, I'm throwing one down. I should have turned my back. I didn't have, and bam, I'm down. It's like, oh, there's no way. Luckily, I see that there's an insta-kill, and there's a max ammo. I'm like, oh, get a monkey out. I at least got to show him the points. So I go to hit it again, and that was a well-placed $500,000 point GobbleGum right there. And then from there, it goes on to 1,000,025. It maxes out at that, guys. So at 100, I'll put an annotation if they change it, because there constantly are. Make sure to leave a like. Lots more videos coming. And you guys have a great day.